Hoo-hoo, the Black Phone is bringing back some old school 70s stranger danger. This takes me back to growing up with unsolved mysteries, news reports, and after-school specials where I was under the impression that for a couple of decades, half of our population was kidnapped and thrown into the back of a windowless van. The movie takes place in 1978, where Finn is a middle schooler who is abducted by a serial killer called the Grabber, and his tool for survival is a phone in which the ghosts of the dead kids the Grabber has killed before are calling in to give him clues. And oh my god, this movie totally works. I love so much that even before we get into the kidnapping plot, we spend a lot of time with these kids, to where it really starts out like a coming-of-age movie. Finn doesn't have many friends, he's bullied a lot, and the only thing he really has is his sister, both of whom are like best friends. I love little parts like him sneaking downstairs in the middle of the night to watch horror movies on TV. Between all of these characters looking extremely appropriate for the time, and also the direction really capturing that style, I would totally go to a drive-in to watch a double feature of Licorice Pizza and this, even though they're both completely different genres. Before the killer comes into it, you're also terrified for these kids, because when we're introduced to their dad, played by Jeremy Davies, he's pounding drinks and also beating them with a belt. This was an intense-ass scene, made even creepier by the fact that not only do we have a serial killer driving around in a van, but they live with Jeremy Davies, who still looks a lot like when he played Charles Manson. But the movie is so well written that you start out thinking, okay, here's a stereotypically drunk, abusive dad character. But they give this guy a lot of depth as the movie goes on, making him feel like a real person and not just some caricature. You get to know so much about all of them and their world that it makes it hit extra hard when he eventually is kidnapped by Ethan Hawke's the Grabber. And he is magnificent in this movie. You don't know a whole lot about him, but that works, because you know eventually he's gonna try to kill this kid, but you don't know enough about his methods to know how far into the kidnapping is he gonna try to kill him, and what the hell is he gonna do with him beforehand. Hawke is creepy in this, and he had a blast going wildly against type. He was like watching a Batman villain who is a 70s child abductor. The movie is based on a short story by Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King, and you do see a lot of King influence here, but it all works. When it comes to the supernatural elements, like the phone, or the sister who has psychic dreams, you don't know 100% how this is happening, but you're given enough information about it, and the characters are so well written, that I had no problem just accepting it and going along with it. And like in a lot of King's stuff, yes, there are bullies. Anymore, that can be a real hit or miss thing with movies, but I like what they do with it here, because it wastes no time at fucking up the bullies left and right. They got this badass kid at the school who is like a younger version of Mark Gregory, who is in action hero mode when he goes to school every day. Even when Finn starts getting the calls, the voices we get on the other end feel like real developed characters, because of the editing that sometimes shows them standing in the same room, and also flashbacks and little bits of information that they give about being on the other side, and that's pretty chilling and tragic. I loved being with all of these characters, and my god, you were just rooting for them to put together all of these clues left behind about various items that the kids tried to use to escape but couldn't. I 100% mean this as a compliment when I say that the movie really reminds me of a cool, high-quality 70s TV horror movie. Like one that might have aired and then was unfortunately forgotten about for a while, and then you find a bootleg of it somewhere, watch it, and say, my god, this movie kicks ass. Director Scott Derrickson and writer C. Robert Cargill are always a great team-up, and they do such great work here. Between making you really like these characters, especially the sister, who is extremely funny, and she's fantastic in the intense scenes too. The movie is consistent in that it's just as captivating when we're outside of the basement with the characters like her, who are also trying to solve the mystery, and it does the jump scares well too. It doesn't overdo it and uses them at just the right moments where it's a great payoff and feels earned. I'll give the movie an A-. It's absolutely worth checking out in theaters. The movie is extremely intense, well-made, chilling, but also has a lot of heart. And stay tuned tomorrow because I'll have a review for Elvis, and until then, subscribe to our channel today, and we'll see you next time.